Last Christmas, JP got a goat, but the very next day, we served it 4 ways. This year, to save me some time and money, I've made y'all a clip show special. Hey everybody, call me Felix, and yes, it's that time of year, and yes, it's come to this, a clip show. You know, 2020 marks the first year of the most hyper-normal food and travel show on the Hyper Insta FaceTube Talks. And we're so hyper-normal, our staff is hyper-worked for Christmas. And it's why we're giving you the gift of this clip show. The gift to turn back time to last Christmas, 2019. A halcyon time of unmasked hyperconnectivity and unbridled feasting at hyperspace and full capacity. Now I'm eager to flash back to last Christmas at cousin JP's house when we ate a whole goat several ways, but we'll relive those memories later in this video. Please make sure to watch to the end. I'm sure it will be worth your while. Let's start our trip back in time to the end of November 2019. And oh boy, wouldn't we love to be stuck in that time warp knowing what came next to where we are 1 year later, don't we? The place was Bonifacio Global City, or BGC in Metro Manila. I guess you could call it like the Singapore of Manila, right? And we, as in Dad and I, just landed in the Philippines from my home state of California after some undisclosed time prior, from when I woke up from another timeline and parallel universe into this one and into this avatar of a food and travel blogger in the country of my ancestry. Strangely, I lost 1,132 episodes in the migration, and it's why the first video under my food and travel avatar starts off at 1133, the Jollibee episode. In a past life, I only had Jollibee a handful of times and thought of the Filipino fast food chain's take on American food indifferent at best and at worst awful for burgers that tasted like yesterday's leftover meatloaf with banana ketchup on a bun. In number 1133, I gave Jollibee another chance to wow me, as it has for many Filipinos and non-Filipinos alike, locally and abroad. I ordered the restaurant's signature items, and here's how that review went down. Corned beef has a nice texture to it, quite a little firm, slightly chewy. You can tell that it didn't really come from a can, because usually the can has a lot of fat in it, or a little bit of fat in there. You need a bit of that egg to add some creaminess to it, and of course you need some rice to add, a little more body there. It does meet the hype, actually. Actually quite nice. I tend to like it in this incarnation as a burger steak rather than as a hamburger, because again, when I'm eating a hamburger, I want to eat the pureness of the beef as well as the other ingredients. But this works just well with rice, some mushroom, and some, like a Salisbury steak. Not too sweet and not sugary sweet at all. Nice balance on that. Still get that tomato flavor that shines through. Noodles are pretty well done. Not quite al dente, but good enough. And then the beef mixture with the sausage, really nice savory components there. I don't know if it's just me, but what I think Jollibee regular fried chicken tastes like is it tastes similar to Popeyes. The only big difference really is that here, like I was mentioning earlier, it's not like hopped up with grease. Usually you eat Popeyes fried chicken back in the States, you get like globs of grease when you eat through it, or globs of juice and grease when you eat through it. And that can kind of be a little bit unpleasant, right? But it's a nicely balanced fried chicken. I think the gravy here is absolutely delectable. So it's kind of like what pushes it over the edge of really good fried chicken into something that's beyond that. Later that night, on the day we raved about Jollibee's food, we had dinner across the street from that Jollibee branch in BGC at a place more Epicurean, you could say, haute couture, the High Street Cafe at the Shangri-la Hotel at the Fort for its luxurious dinner buffet on episode number 1135. As we would find out on our future food adventures, luxury buffets that stress quality over quantity are plenty around Metro Manila, and the High Street Cafe stood out for its signature dishes, the beef cheek sous vide, Malaysian laksa, and the biggest surprise of the meal is the succulent lechon that ranks in my personal books as one of the very best lechon I ever had. So Dad here got a really fatty pork piece of lechon. I mean, Really fatty. Let me see. Thick, big slab of skin. Lots of juicy fat underneath. This looks epic. Absolutely the perfect bite of lechon there. But look at that juicy fat there underneath. That's crispy, thick skin. We go in immediately for another bite of this. Just by itself. Oh, wow. If you go in for one dish, really, this is the world-beating dish. This and the lechon is the two absolutely most worth it dishes on the buffet. Lechon and beef cheeks. Because this is a clip show, technically, I should be presenting all these segments under a frame narrative as we flash back per the Wikipedia entry of a clip show. So what's our present now? Well, we're here in our ancestral house in the town of Piddig, in the province of Ilocos Norte, way up in the extreme northwest of the Philippines. And this is how the house is decked out for Christmas. As you see, the theme of this year's Christmas is Mardi Gras, and it's almost fitting if you think about it within the scope of this year. We're flashing back to the time, when we could celebrate life and the most unfettered, hedonistic ways possible, even for just one day, and especially for one day, and celebrate well before the 40 days of Lenten repentance. And if you know your Bible, the time of 40 days wasn't literally 40 days, but, a metaphor for an indefinitely long time, which is why these 9 months or so are our proverbial 40 days of repentance, masked in the popular euphemisms of social distancing and isolation. Hey! Cultural mimesis and dialectical images of holidays within holidays, so to speak, eh? Okay, well, to brighten your spirits, legend has it that many of these beads you see here were given on spring break to Girls Gone Wild 20 plus years ago. If you're ever curious as to what happened to those beads, they passed through many a station and attached many a postmark of every nation on earth. And they ultimately wound up in boxes cached in the crawl space of this house, only for cousin JP to find them in 2020 when he was short on Christmas decorations. And here we are. I'm quite sure this stuff of legend is of interest to the team at Kapuso Mo Jessica Soho, as they love stories such as this, especially when they discover the magical routes these beads took from, say, the hinterlands of Miami, Florida, to reach this humble bossy-making town in Ilocos Norte. So, if this is the ticket to get featured on Jessica Soho, this be the way. Come on, Jessica Soho, feature us already. I'm desperate to be on your show. From spring break flashes to flashbacks to Major Tom veterated on glitzy office buildings in BGC, we went to the Mercato Centrale night market, right next to the Major Tom building, to get our street food feasting on for episode number 1134. Nerves, catatonia, suffering, what? Stuttering, and disorganized train of thought got the better of me at the night market, such that I barely remember the street food, which I thought was of decent quality. All I could dwell on from those nights was that painting of Major Tom, that space oddity that went from ashes to ashes, venerated into a black star, despite all my mother's pleadings not to mess with Major Tom. A similar episode of dissociation got the better of me that day we went to Venice Grand Mall, or episode number 1142, to dine at a unique all-you-can-eat Dampa-style seafood buffet, Isla Sugbu, and to take advantage of 888 pesos or about $20 for unlimited seafood, provided you can finish all the rounds of food. Before your meal, a guide shows you around the seafood market and informs you which items are covered in the unlimited seafood buffet, while premium items such as live mantis shrimp and tiger lobster cost extra at full price. We love the cheese scallops, adobong pusit or squid ink adobo, salmon head sinigang, and the super light and flaky fried dalagang bukid. I think it's called a yellow-tailed fusilier. Yes. I'm hoping to come back next time to Isla Sugbu, and by then, I hope to sustain some figment of coherent speech and thought. I did, however, have plenty of things to say in episode number 1136, mainly in the form of some scathing criticism for the Vikings Buffet named No! Or Niu, or Anayu, or Anayu, Nu, blah. I think it's just called New. A Vikings Buffet named New. An upgraded luxury incarnation of the popular Vikings Buffet chain in Metro Manila, which I'll sum up as Vikings Buffet with foie gras, or a poor emulation of foie gras. I'm basically seeing that it looks like dog food. So you got 4 of these because, you know, I said, where's my foie gras? Where's my foie gras? Oh, where is my foie gras gone? So the funny thing is, when I ordered it, they don't order it, they don't serve it right away. You know, so the buffet starts at 5:30. You have to wait to 7:15 to get it. All right? Almost 2 hours. So I'll take the subtle sign that take some of this on the brioche. Oh, there's the sear on the bottom that I'm looking for. See, when you're playing that dish, I just would rather have it at the top. Because they're like, no, that's seared foie gras. But okay, that shut me up, I guess. It's a decent foie gras. But even though it had a bit of the sear there, I want a little more of that caramelization there that's present. Really make it that kind of decadent umami that you get out of seared foie gras in a fine dining restaurant. I don't agree with the cut of the foie gras either. It's too thin. And that's why I'm not really getting that umami, sensation going throughout my mouth. So, decent foie gras. And now you can see why, and it's kind of dawned on me, why this place costs about $30 US. It's because it does lack some big ticket items. Much as I wanted to like the new Vikings Buffet, a good number of their offerings, enticing as they seemed on the surface, were subpar. And this is a beef rossini. I guess it's a kind of steak. Looks like some pate on top. Take a... Oh. It will not budge. You need a knife to get through this. Okay. London Bridge is falling down. Okay. I didn't film the chopping of the redwood with my ribeye. I didn't know I was gonna chop another log here. Let me cut through this thing first and finish it with a chainsaw. It's as tough as it looks. The price for this luxury buffet is more than reasonable, especially considering that birth month celebrants eat half off. But it lacked the quality to merit a return there. In other words, New Viking sucks. Unequivocally sucks. Still, I appreciate the birthday surprise they launched on Dad for his 83rd with such remarkable gusto. And just as I was getting dessert, they all sing to my dad. Now, if you're the birthday celebrant and hate that kind of attention, I mean, you don't want to come here. I mean, that's just is. And yet, it kind of makes you feel like you're at your Applebee's neighborhood street grill, mixed with a luxury buffet that looks like it came out of a luxury hotel. Our last night in Metro Manila for 2019, before coming home to Pidig Ilocos Norte, was episode number 1137, where we dined at Livestock restaurant for their famous crispy pata so tender you can cut it with a popsicle stick. We've had plenty of crispy pata on our travels around the Philippines, but it would be unfair to compare them to Livestock's version because there simply is no comparison. It's the most succulent and tastiest fried pork trotter we ever had. The black pepper seasoning is gone straight to the bone. And there you go, making mush out of this. That juicy portion there. I'd zoom in on the skin again and just look at the black pepper seasoning right where that piece of fat is underneath that skin. All well integrated. You probably don't even need sauce for this bite as well. That's a crackling that never seems to end, but I mean, eventually, like all good things, they end, but yeah, you don't want that to end. You get such a wonderful textural contrast, and the seasoning to the bite, you get pretty much everything comes all together. The taste, the texture, it makes you want to keep having more and more and more until, your stomach can't really hold any room anymore. And now the moment you've all been waiting for or scrolled towards. Episode THX 1138. Last Christmas at Cousin JP's house, where we feasted on a whole goat that JP received for his birthday more than 3 weeks prior. Because my sense of humor, which for the most part is consciously non-existent, rises to the fore when Cousin JP is around, I would be remiss if I didn't show you our most hilarious moments, all condensed in this episode.
I truly believe Filipinos are good at 3 things. It's singing, beauty pageants, and boxing. That's it. It's our few talents that's genetically ingrained in our soul.
Oh, are we into Filipino eugenics now? Oh, that's not cool.
I edit that out too.
Here's JP mixing the kilawin that's already been cooked, and he's mixed it up with some vinegar and some chili, some pepper, some liver. Oh, I already said liver.
Skin.
There's skin. No. The secret ingredient to this, and it's the reason why it's a little bit soupy. You know what it is?
It's the sweat off my brow. All the hard work. So what does it taste like?
It's a little more moist than I was expecting because of the secret ingredient of JP's sweat. It's really good. It's a little more moist than for my liking, and usually like the skin has a little more of a chew to it. So I guess that would be my one criticism of it, but it's good.
Everybody has an opinion.
Yeah,
I was gonna say something crazy, but then I was like,
hey. Hey, just be thankful I didn't give like a saccharine opinion that say, oh my gosh, it's the best thing since like God's sweat that came off his brow.
That's what you should have said.
Yeah, I mean, every YouTube food blogger does that. That ain't me, sunshine. That ain't me. At least went through 1 bottle of Emperador Double Light Whiskey, and of course JP's like saying, no we didn't. Yeah, I just assume we did. Okay.
We're on number 3.
Oh, we're on number 3, yeah, and that's the reason why we sound inebriated. Or I'm gonna give the kilawin another try after the whole taste test, especially now that it's been drained of JP's brow sweat. So
Lower.
yeah, I know your secret ingredient. Okay, I'm gonna take some of that with the siling labuyo. Oh, there's green and red chilies. How festive! It's very Christmas.
It's very Christmas. Yeah.
Very Christmassy. Let's give this one a go while we can watch JP do some weird things with his face.
It's really delicious. Don't lie. It's freaking good. I'm telling you, this is my best dish.
Okay,
It's awesome.
the flavor is spot on. That's the good news.
You taste the citrus. You taste the acidity.
Yes, taste some of that vinegar.
But the best part is the heat.
Yes, it is. It keeps it
telling you.
interesting, right?
It's
Just a nice little warming heat,
I'm
right?
just telling you, that is the truth.
Okay, now that I've said that part, what it could use is a little more charring on the skin to give it more chew, you see? A little more chew. Just a little
Guys,
more chew.
you know what? Those are-
charring texture, right?
Those are the ingredients that were given to me, and that is what I worked with, so...
All
besides
right.
that, I mean,
okay,
yeah.
let's blame it on our executioner.
Blame
huh?
it on executioner.
Okay.
Jeffrey! You should have charred it more. He doesn't speak English. Should I translate? Jeffrey, sinugan mo sana ng konti. Hindi daw masyado maano eh. Hindi niya malasa yung flavor naman.
Hey, I didn't say that. I said there is taste. You. I just said it should be more
Yeah, I
chewy.
said, that's what I told him. That's what I said.
No, you didn't. You said it walang lasa. What is wrong with you? No, you
Damn
don't
it!
taste-
He knows how to speak. He didn't understand.
Yes.
Kidding. Oh, leave that out, by the way.
As for the goat dishes, honestly, they were just okay. And to this day, it still grosses me out that the kilawin JP made was drowning in his brow sweat. And probably to this day, still is drowning in his brow sweat. And that some of that sweat still lives in our own bodies to this day.
Don't lie. It's freaking good. Now you're gonna regret it. You're gonna regret it because he's gonna shut this up.
Lastly, a few days before Christmas, we were invited to JP's friend's garden party on a farm between Pidig and the nearby town of Solsona, depicted in episode number 1145, notable for its fantastic lechon and other Ilocano specialty dishes, but that lechon to this day remains a showstopper. That friend of JP's is the Mama Ping in Mama Ping's Kitchenette, her farm-to-table restaurant that opened weeks after that, filming in late December, and we frequented Mama Ping's Kitchenette on 3 occasions. Episode number 1144, when the menu consisted only of 3 soups, and goodness gracious, what amazing soups they were. Episode number 1175, more than 1 month after number 1144, when we gorged on all kinds of porky specialties I describe as fairy godmother's cooking. And lastly, episode number 1186 for JP's mother's birthday feast, otherwise known as the lightning round for me personally, and you know how much I love lightning. What ugly weather! The neat thing about episode number 1144 and number 1145 is they form a strange tangled hierarchy, a recursive loop if you will, that might suggest 2021 will be similar to 2020. I mean, we're in the Kali Yuga after all, aren't we? So that about does it for the last Christmas clip show, and hopefully it's the last Christmas clip show we do, or the technically correct thing to say is last Christmas clip show. Wherever you are, I wish you all the best this Christmas, and special wishes to those of you who couldn't be home for whatever reason, and that 2021 gives us better luck next year, and we find the exit cause out of this recursive loop. So, Felix Navidad, everybody, and remember, the Empire, it never ended.